Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, we're going to watch, I believe it's Tom Hanks' feature film debut. It's called He Knows You're Alone. Let's watch. Our movie starts with a couple making out in the car. They appear to have a visitor.
Which one?
He eventually goes to find a noise and... Oh, it's a movie within a movie.
I can't take this anymore.
When her friend returns, she thinks somebody's been following her.
Somebody's following me. You don't watch something, baby? But when I was down, shh, come on.
But someone was following her. And just as someone dies on screen... Cops aren't investigating.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Including the principal from the Breakfast Club.
She was getting married, Len. Next week. I bet it's him. Oh, wait.
Here's a flashback.
Ray, listen, I'm sorry things worked out the way they did.
Ray is apparently our
our
killer.
This just happened, okay? Now, come on, would you leave, please?
And his girlfriend left for somebody else.
Ray? Ray, come on. Ray?
And this started it all.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Here's Amy, the actress Caitlin O'Heaney.
Gosh, you go away for a bachelor's weekend and I get to pick out furniture.
And her fiancé Phil.
Come on, watch your step, you guys.
Well, sure enough, Amy is now being followed. Apparently our killer stalks brides-to-be.
I left town for one
Marvin.
lousy summer and Phil sweeps you off your feet?
Well, you shouldn't have gone.
You
Amy's
should marry somebody on
ex-boyfriend.
the rebound.
Rebound.
This is such a pleasant place.
She goes on with her wedding plans, trying on dresses, prancing around in her underwear. And the shopkeep gets it next.
You're not so bad.
I think his name is Ralph, and this is the end of Ralph. And Amy is none the wiser. Get a little backstory to Len, the cop who's after this
Her
killer.
bride was killed. An hour before her wedding. Len was going to marry her. When you actually learn
One of
something.
Amy's friends is having an affair with her college professor. That's the actress
I think we ought
Patsy
to have a
Pease.
platonic relationship.
When he leaves to investigate a noise, he comes back.
What the?
Joyce is dead. And so is he. She's still on good terms with Marvin,
I didn't see him.
and she still thinks someone's following her.
I'm scared, Marvin.
If I'd known
Marvin
this
still has the
man was
hots for
here
her.
A long time ago.
Doesn't want her to marry Phil.
You think
Amy's friend Nancy has her sights set on this jogger. He looks really familiar.
Too tired to scream from the pain you just caused me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, don't be. I stretched out an extra foot to make sure I trip you.
I know who the next girl is, Frank. Never mind how.
He found Amy's name on the dead
All I have to do is wait for her to lead me to him.
wedding dress shop owner.
Frank, it's my case.
Yes, it's Tom Hanks in his feature film debut.
Psych 1. Introduction to psychology.
Expert.
Want a Goober?
Dana Barron's acting debut. You remember her from National Lampoon's Vacation.
Besides, Phil's younger brother is even a bigger asshole than he is. Hi, guys. Hi, Nancy.
sure she's being followed again. She's right. This is Nancy taking a shower. After she takes her shower, she relaxes with a joint and some music and becomes our next victim. So what happened to Nancy? Well, when Amy comes home, she finds her roommate's head in the fish tank. So Amy takes off. The killer is chasing her slowly on foot. Good thing she locked the door. So she goes to see Marvin, who works at the city morgue.
Call the cops.
I don't know why she didn't go to the police. Instead, she went to Marvin.
At the residence of an Amy Jensen.
Detective Len is on his way to the morgue.
Warden. There's been a homicide.
Did you say Jensen?
That's right.
And Amy Jensen just called from the morgue and said that someone was trying to kill her.
Well, here's Amy cowering in the morgue somewhere. And there's our killer. But Detective Len shows up just in time to shoot him. But guess what? Ray's not dead. But I think Len is. Anyway, the cops show up. Marvin and Amy flee.
It's over now.
We actually never see what happens to Ray or if they catch him or what. I guess we should assume he got arrested.
Okay.
So yes, she decided to marry Marvin now instead of Phil.
Don't worry.
Guess who shows up at the wedding day though?
Phil, what are you doing here?
I guess the cycle continues. All right. He Knows You're Alone. This is a movie that I saw early days of cable for me back, I want to say, April or May of 1982. I was a little boy watching this movie. The scene that I remember, or actually the scene that was in the cable guide, was the picture of the killer when he had his arm through the door at the morgue, or the window at the door, and he was kind of grabbing it at the woman there. Speaking of that woman, her name is Caitlin O'Heaney, is the actress's name. She was in several things in the 80s and early 90s, a TV show called The Charmings. She's also in a horror movie called Savage Weekend, in which she had a nude scene in. She actually grew up probably about a mile from where I'm sitting right now. And she is from Wisconsin. I think she lives in like New York these days. Anyway, the movie itself, it's a slasher movie from 1981, I believe it was. It's probably remembered more for anything now for Tom Hanks' feature film debut. Apparently he talked about this movie when he was on Letterman at one point too. And apparently he was supposed to get killed off in this movie, but the producers thought he was so charismatic they decided to let him live. So there you go. He only had like 2 brief scenes, but anyway, whatever. So he did this even before Bosom Buddies. This was his first acting role according to IMDb. The movie itself is about a killer who is going after brides, or soon-to-be brides, and he's what his motivation is for killing these brides. I guess he was jilted years ago, and he's been killing brides ever since, or future brides. Our woman here, Caitlin O'Heaney, she's about to be married to this guy named Phil, and she suddenly gets stalked by this killer. The cop, the main cop who's chasing this killer down, he was one of the guys who was married to a bride years ago, or was about to be married to a bride, and she got killed like about an hour or so before she was supposed to get married. And this guy's back, so of course he's now trying to find this killer once again. Now, interestingly, near the end of this movie there, she's being chased by the killer in the morgue. Marvin works at the morgue. Her former boyfriend, he shows up, and he's there. And they end up leaving the morgue, and they're like, oh, everything's fine now. We're all okay. But meanwhile, the killer is inside, and he was still, granted he was shot, but he was up and running around again. He actually stabbed the cop. So it appears that he was alive and perhaps not even going to die. I don't know. But the cops ran in, and I guess, I don't know. As far as we know, he's still alive and still out there, but whatever. So the movie ends with the woman, she decides she's not going to marry Phil. She's going to marry Marvin, her old boyfriend, instead. And, of course, Phil shows up on her wedding day and presumably kills her, and the cycle starts again. There you go. He Knows You're Alone, typical slash movie from the early 80s. Kind of an interesting soundtrack. It was very similar to Halloween. I kind of liked it. One nude scene, Elizabeth Kemp. I think she was in a soap opera, and she ended up doing like some acting teaching in New York. She died a few years ago. She has the only nude scene in this movie, a topless scene in the shower. Other than that, yeah, Tom Hanks' feature film debut, like I mentioned, and it's a decent film for what it is. So anyway, check it out. It's put out by Warner Brothers. Not sure if this has got a Blu-ray release or not. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. But anyway, check it out. Leave some comments down below. Tell me about it. Tell me what you think about it. He Knows You're Alone. Watch it. Bye.